India has a long and rich maritime history. The Indus Valley Civilization, which emerged around 2600 BCE, and a thriving maritime trade network. The Indian Navy has a long history and played a key role in the region's maritime trade and defense. Today, India continues to have a significant presence in the Indian Ocean and is actively working to expand its influence in the region through its Act East policy and the development of its blue economy. Hello and Namaste, I am Richa Dwivedi and you're with me on India, that is Bharat. In this episode, we will explore India's rich maritime history and how the glorious past has influenced its present-day capabilities. The earliest reference to maritime activities occurs in the Rig Veda, which mentions merchants sailing ships across the oceans in quest of trade and wealth. Ancient Indian scriptures like Ramayana, Mahabharata, Purans, Harivamsa and other texts also have numerous references related to boats, ships and sea voyages. The earliest impression of a riverboat was found on an Indus Valley seal from 3000 BCE. During this time, the inhabitants of Indus Valley civilization had prosperous maritime trade links with Mesopotamia and Persia. The Harappans also constructed the first tied dock of the world for berthing and servicing ships at the port town of Lothal. Harappans were recognized as accomplished seafarers and they could make ships which were fully seaworthy and could sail to West Asia. The Greek and Roman literary records give sufficient evidence about maritime trade during the days of Nanda and Maurya empires. Megasthenes, the Greek ambassador to Chandragupta Maurya, has described the presence of a special group that looked after different aspects of naval warfighting. The navy of the Magad kingdom, therefore, is considered to be the first ever recorded instance of a navy anywhere in the world. Chandragupta's minister, Chanakya, wrote the Arthashastra, which has details of the department of waterways under a Navadhyaksha or superintendent of the ships, and contains vivid accounts of various aspects of a naval force, including the type of boats and their purposes. The Gupta emperors had shown a great interest in the field of navigation and also encouraged inland and overseas navigation for trade. Fa Hien, the Chinese monk who came to India in 399 CE to study Buddhism, had given an eyewitness account of the Gupta Empire when he sailed from Tamralipti in Bengal and 14 days later reached Ceylon, where he embarked for Java in 413 CE. During the Chola dynasty from 3rd to 13th century, extensive sea trade existed and new harbours with quarters, warehouses and workshops were established. The Pandya dynasty from 6th to 16th century were eminent sea traders with links extending from the Roman Empire and Egypt in the west to China in the east. The Cheras, 12th century, had a flourishing trade with the Greeks and Romans. They used monsoon winds to sail their ships directly from the Indian ports to ports in Arabia. The Vijayanagar Empire from 1336 to 1646 AD established strong links with various parts of Southeast Asia, spreading India's culture, religion, architecture and traditions. This influence is visible even today in Southeast Asia, as names of many places and people are of Indian origin. Coming to the Maratha Empire, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj realized the importance of a strong navy and supremacy at sea in the 17th century. The Maratha Navy was known for its innovative use of warships, including the incorporation of European technology such as the use of shipborne artillery. The Marathas' navy established strongholds in the forts of Kolaba, Sindhudurg, Vijayadurg and Ratnagiri. For more than 40 years, the Marathas held both the Portuguese and the British at bay single-handedly. India's history is filled with instances where rulers of various dynasties focused on boosting their naval capabilities. This was a clear threat to the British, who decided to break the back of India's maritime power. Strict restrictions were imposed on Indian ships and merchants by enacting a law in the British Parliament at that time. It has been 75 years since India attained its independence. When Prime Minister Modi gave the clarion call to decolonize, the idea was to not just get rid of the colonial imprints but to also strive to achieve the prowess Bharat once had. Last year, the new naval ensign was revealed that is inspired by the seal of Chhatrapati Shivaji's naval fleet. In fact, in recent years, the Indian government is working with the vision to strengthen maritime capacity. It has taken several initiatives in the maritime sector, including infrastructure upgradation, mechanization, modernization, digitization, process simplification, capacity enhancement, achieving a paperless regime in port sector, coastal community development, coastal shipping, inland water transport, etc. The Government of India has also embarked on the ambitious Sagar Mala program, which aims to promote port-led development in the country. Under this, there are 802 projects worth investment of Rs 5.4 lakh crore for implementation by 2035. The Indian government has recently released Maritime India Vision 2030, a blueprint to ensure coordinated and accelerated growth of India's maritime sector in the next decade. Under this, initiatives such as developing world-class megaports, transshipment hubs, and infrastructure modernization of ports have been identified. To promote inland water transport in India, 111 waterways, including 5 existing and 106 new, spread over 24 states, have been declared as national waterways under the National Waterways Act 2016. Indian ports have significantly improved their efficiency of operation in terms of cargo handling capacity and turnaround time. In order to showcase India's rich and diverse maritime heritage, the Indian government is developing the National Maritime Heritage Complex at Lothal, Gujarat, which will leverage modern technology to showcase maritime history and will be an international and national tourist destination. Numerous initiatives have been undertaken in the quest towards ensuring a potent, professionally competent and operationally ready Indian Navy, including acquisition of various warships, submarines, weapons, sensors and equipment, procurement of naval helicopters and aircrafts, upgrading and developing various bases and ports, modernizing the naval fleet and commissioning of indigenous aircraft carriers, INS Vikrant and INS Mormugao. Our rich maritime history stands as a testament to the might the nation achieved in the past and is perfectly capable of achieving in the current global space. Today, India is not only strengthening its naval defense but is also exploring trade routes, leveraging its waterways, developing ports of strategic value, and is boosting maritime cooperation. So that was all in this episode of India That is Bharat. Do let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, this is Richa Dwivedi signing off. Dhanyavad and Namaste.